I'm about to do a max heart rate test and I'm scared. I don't know what my max heart rate is, but I'm about to find out. Do you understand what your heart rate should be on every run? By the end of this video, I want you to know what affects your heart rate, why a normal heart rate doesn't exist, why training at too high a heart rate could be a bad thing, and I'm going to find out what my max heart rate is. Last year, I ran a marathon PB of 2:55. This year, I want sub 2:50. So I'm spending a lot of time researching what can make me go faster. I track my heart rate on every run, whether it's with my watch or a chest strap. So I'm really excited that we're partnering with Garmin for this one. And we come to St Mary's University in London, and I'm going to meet heart rate expert Professor Charlie Pedlar, who's going to bust some heart rate myths. To understand what your heart rate should be and why that's important, we need to understand what might affect it.
Yeah, so heart rate is a really nice kind of global marker of everything that's going on in your body. There's lots of things that can affect it. So your general levels of fitness are going to mean that you have a lower heart rate at rest and during exercise. Your age, so we know your max heart rate, for example, gradually comes down as you get older. Temperature, so as you get hotter, your heart beats more. If you're really nervous about something, your heart rate's going to shoot up. If you're worried about things and so on, that can also push up your heart rate.
So there's no such thing as a normal heart rate, because they're all so different and there are so many different factors at play. While there might not be a normal value, you can still identify when your heart rate might not be right for you. And to do that, we need to think about the relationship between heart rate, pace, and effort. On a run, you typically have three things that you can train to: heart rate zones, pace, and RPE. You don't need to use just one of those on each run. And actually, if you do, then you might not be maximizing your potential on each of those runs. Why shouldn't runners use just heart rate or just pace or just effort?
Everyone's going to have their own preferences. For some people, measuring heart rate every time is sort of one step too far in terms of the sort of detail that you need. And pace, serves a good purpose for telling you how well you're running. And if you combine that with effort, you can kind of judge quite well whether or not it was correct. But for those runners that want to be more precise and want to know, what was my physiology actually doing, then knowing the heart rate would be a nice addition. It is a nice indicator of how hard your physiology is working. It's a strong indicator of how much stress your body is under at any one time.
So all this has got me thinking about my own easy runs. Do I run them easy enough, or is my heart rate getting too high? So we're on the track and we're going to do a little test. And if you've heard us talking before about easy runs, then you definitely would have heard about zone 2. In terms of RPE, that's sort of 3 to 4 out of 10. And each of us is going to have a slightly different idea of what an easy pace usually is. For me, it's about 8-minute miles or 5-minute kilometers, certainly on a flat track like this. So my challenge is 3 blocks. And for each of them, I'm going to be focusing solely on one specific metric. And then afterwards, we can compare each of those blocks to see how similar or different they are. That 1 of 3, I'm going to go by pace. 8-minute miles, 5 minutes a kilometer, 3 laps. Right, rep 2. I am going to do effort this time. 3 or 4 out of 10. Mostly what I'm thinking is slow down rather than speed up. And rep 3, here we go. Thinking about heart rate. I want it to be about 130, and it's not right now. So I'm currently working a little bit too hard. I want it to be in that blue zone. So I want to slow down to that. Whew. Okay, let's compare the data. So 3 by 1200 meters, I started out with pace. I wanted to be 8-minute miles, but the pace I went at was 750, and my heart rate was 130. When I moved then to effort, I did actually exactly the same time. So 751 was the average pace. The heart rate went up a bit there though, so 134. So I thought I was maybe working at the same effort, but my heart rate is a little bit higher. Then when I went to heart rate, I wanted it to be about 130. I averaged 133, but my pace was a bit slower, so the whole rep took 6 minutes. In my head, I was running the same pace the whole time though. So I was running what felt like the same intensity and the same effort. I think it's just good to remember that this is also just one run, and every run that we go on is going to feel a little bit different, and it's maybe going to change during. My heart rate was a little bit higher in that 3rd rep. and my pace was a little bit slower. It might mean that I've got a little bit of fatigue. I'm training quite a lot at the moment. So that might just be a sign that actually my body's getting a bit tired. I think it's just a reminder that just to check in with yourself on every run you're doing. You can use metrics, so it's great to use heart rate, effort and pace, but just listen to your body and kind of understand what is right for you for the run that you're doing. This is why Garmin's performance conditioning could be a good metric to look at. So it's going to pop up on your watch somewhere between 6 and 20 minutes into the run, and it's going to give you a score from -20 to +20. It's assessing your current ability to perform compared to your current fitness level. So it's going to look at your pace, it's going to look at heart rate variability, and it's going to compare that to your current state of fitness. If you get a score that's quite low, if it's in the negatives, you don't need to worry too much, but you might just need to check the run that you're doing. You know, listen to your body. If you're feeling extra fatigued, maybe adjust the workout that you're going to be doing. Hope you're finding this helpful. Hit subscribe and then let us know in the comments if there's things at the moment that you're struggling with or want to understand a little bit more about your training. I love going into details like this, so whatever you want to know, tell us, we'll get into it. What should heart rate be on an easy run?
Well, it's a good question, but it's really impossible to give you an actual number of what your heart rate should be on an easy run. We tend to use heart rate zones to give us boundaries for different types of runs. The important thing is to try and estimate what they are as accurately as you can. So the heart rate reserve method would be a good one. And then that will give you a band to work in. Once you've got that, it's a guide, and you might find it's a bit high or a bit low, and so you kind of need to use your experience with it too. And you're looking for sort of progress over time with multiple runs to see how your pace is changing in that particular heart rate zone as you get fitter.
And if the intention is an easy run and an easy effort, but you find your heart rate creeping up, it goes to zone 3, even zone 4, what should we be doing?
What that's indicating is that your physiological demands, if you like, are higher than you want them to be for that particular intensity. And the risk with that is that then you turn in from what's supposed to be an easy run into a threshold run, which is not what you set out to do. So at that point, bring down the intensity is going to bring down the heart rate. There might be other things that you can do to try and help with your, by breathing slightly differently and trying to relax your mind a little bit. But also, conditions are going to affect it too. So if you're running up a hill, then you're going to drift out of the zone. And that's okay, as long as you're mindful of that and come back into it once you go over the brow of the hill or hit some flat ground.
Yeah, so minor peaks are okay if it's you turn into a headwind or you go up a hill and things like that. Where should heart rate be if we're doing intervals and thresholds and faster reps?
Working to percentages of max again. 70 to 80 is going to be that kind of higher intensity threshold type work. But it really varies by individual. So elite athletes, for example, will be able to work closer to their max heart rate than the rest of us, shall we say.
But in many ways, if we're doing a 400-meter rep, it's quite hard to look at your heart rate in the middle of that, and it's not necessarily that instructive, for me anyway.
No, completely agree. If you're doing interval work on a track, then by the time you've checked your heart rate, made any adjustments, your rep is over. Pace and RPE or effort is going to be much more appropriate on the track. It's nice to have heart rate data to see what it got to and where you were afterwards when you review the information, but at the time it's not going to be useful at all.
Yeah. But an exception then would be if we're doing longer reps. So say you're marathon training, we're doing 2K reps, 3K reps, 2-mile reps. Yeah. Then it's a little bit more interesting and relevant to keep a track on.
Totally.
Heart rate.
Yeah, much more reasonable to use a target heart rate range because you're trying to control the pace so that you can get through the session without blowing up or without, or sustaining a particular target intensity.
The key thing to remember is that you want to train in a range of heart rate zones each week if you're looking to improve. High heart rates are for speed work and your faster sessions. And it's a low heart rate for warm-ups, cool-downs, and easy runs. I guarantee that right now, some of you are thinking, my heart rate zones never seem to be quite right. But I'm going to show you some things that you can do to make sure that it's more accurate. Go into your heart rate data on your watch and make sure you're using the heart rate reserve method, percentage HRR. This is going to only use the useful beats between your resting and maximum heart rate to calculate your heart rate zones. But then ask yourself, does your watch have an accurate maximum heart rate value? Have you worn your watch in a race or done a max effort workout? If not, give this a go. I have done plenty of races, but I have never done this. But for the purposes of finding my max heart rate, let's do it. done a couple of miles of warm up. Now I come onto the treadmill and I'm gonna run at a tempo pace and I'm gonna progressively increase the gradient to about 8%. The aim is that I'm gonna reach my max heart rate after about 8 to 12 minutes.
Mark, can you say 174, getting close? Okay.
175. Getting there. 180.
Whoa. Okay.
That got really hard. Whew, that was hard. But it's given me a new max heart rate of 180. So that's gonna now help with my zones now as I continue to train. It's gonna make them that little bit more accurate, which is gonna help me train a little bit better. So now you should know better than to do an easy run in zone 4. Zone 2 should be a little bit more familiar, and zone 5, hopefully a bit less scary. If you have any other heart rate questions, then drop them in the comments now. And if you're looking for a way to hack your fitness, go and check this out.